I think in terms of why us, it comes back to who we are. It comes back to our core purpose. The expectations across the entire supply chain are just getting harder and harder. More and more customers at every level are realizing it's not as simple as like, I want to focus on getting the lowest cost. I need that partner who can help me solve problems. People often frame it and think about it in different ways, but I sort of think of like, it's only getting more challenging in the supply chain. It's not going to get simpler anytime soon. And so I think you're seeing more and more customers understand, I need the partner I can come to with the problem, even if I don't have any idea how to solve it. If you look at our industry as a whole, right, and you have to put our 80th anniversary into context. Our industry has been absolutely littered by M&A transactions where companies have changed names 5 or 6 times, and every single time one of those transactions has happened, 2 things have happened. 1, they've gotten farther from the customers, and 2, they've sought to justify the transaction through some form of cost cutting. If you look in the last 5 years, and you look at the top 10 paper producers in North America, there's only one that's built multiple new state-of-the-art plants. That's Atlantic. That's what the 80th anniversary is about, is that the family is deeply concerned with the sustainability of the business on a long-term basis. We have a plant in York, Pennsylvania. We are told very explicitly by our customers they need us to do more of that across the US. We build a plant in Chicago. That new plant in Chicago has double the output that the old plant has and has half the employees because there's such a high level of automation and technology. Outside of Europe, I would say that that's the most state-of-the-art plant in all of North America. Its only real competitor is the plant we're sitting in Hamilton here. And again, that's a sign of where the business is going long term, right? We want this plant to be in high operation 20 years, 30 years, 40 years into the future. Michael Porter took the position that strategy isn't that complicated, that you have basically 2 decisions to make. Are you going to compete on cost? And are you going to be broad in terms of your market coverage, or are you going to be narrow? And so when I look at our competition, most of our competitors are in the cost column. That is their core strategy, and you can see that in millions of different ways. If you just look at simple metrics that customers talk about that you wouldn't necessarily think provide value, like when I have a problem and I call, my salesperson answers the phone. Collins would argue it's impossible for an organization to change its core purpose. The stronger the culture is, the harder it gets to change its core purpose. If I'm talking about a company that's 80 years old and the founding of the company was based on customer experience, the company started because Abraham had a partner. There was some concerns, let's say, about short stacking, putting 8 bags in a bundle that's supposed to be 10, and he didn't want to be part of that. So Abraham and Phil decided to start Atlantic Paper, which eventually became Atlantic Packaging, and moved from just bags into corrugated. But at the very start of the company, from day one for 80 years, it was about trying to meet the customer's expectation and do right by them. You can't undo that, and you can't replicate that very easily.